One of the biggest and most controversial stories to come out of the Tokyo Olympic Games was Simone Biles' shocking and unexpected early exit. Recently, Biles has opened up about why she regrets ever attending the 2020 Olympic Games, some of which include her struggle with mental health, a terrifying case of the Twisties, and her trauma from the abuse she endured 2 years ago. Stick around and find out why Simone regrets ever attending the Tokyo Olympic Games. Simone Biles regrets going to the Olympics. But why? If you followed the Tokyo Olympics, then you surely heard about one of the biggest stories to come out: Simone Biles dropping out of the Olympics due to her mental health status. Many Biles fans were heartbroken when they heard the news, but empathized with the gymnast who was clearly under an immense amount of pressure and expectation. But now, Simone is telling the world that she ultimately regrets going to the Tokyo Olympics. But why? Let's delve into everything you need to know. Simone Biles, a four-time Olympic gymnast champion, says she should have retired far before the Tokyo Games. To focus on her mental health, American Biles withdrew from 5 of her 6 finals in Japan. The 24-year-old was anticipated to add to her 4 gold medals from Rio in 2016. But she went out in 2018 about being assaulted by team doctor Larry Nassar, who is currently serving a life term in prison. "If you look at everything I've been through for the past 7 years, I should have never made another Olympic team," she said in a New York Magazine interview. Biles continued, "I should have quit way before Tokyo. When Larry Nassar was in the media for 2 years. It was too much. But I was not going to let him take something I've worked so hard for since I was 6 years old. I wasn't going to let him take that joy away from me. So I pushed past that for as long as my mind and my body would let me." Biles had been seeing a therapist in the months leading up to the Olympics, and she admitted that nervousness crept in when she arrived in Tokyo. Aside from mental health concerns, she also had the Twisties, a condition that briefly impairs an athlete's spatial awareness. Say you have perfect eyesight until you're 30 years old. Then one morning you wake up, you can't see, but people advise you to carry on and do your daily job as if you still have your eyesight, she remarked, trying to explain her decision for wanting to never attend the games in the first place. "You'd be lost, wouldn't you? That's the only thing I can relate it to. I've been doing gymnastics for 18 years. I woke up and lost it. How am I supposed to go on with my day?" It is evident to see that Simone's heart just wasn't in it, the same way it used to be at least. She has been pushed and pressured and even a victim of sexual abuse. It's no wonder that she wanted to take a break and focus on her mental health. Simone Biles had the Twisties, which contributed to her Olympic departure. Have you ever heard of the Twisties? If you haven't, that's okay, we haven't either. It's a gymnastics term and phenomenon where a gymnast is unsure of where they are in the air and can quickly become extremely disoriented, resulting in potential horrific incidents. Imagine flying through the air, jumping from a piece of equipment as you prepare to twist on an axis while flipping on the other. Because everything happens so quickly, there just isn't much time to adjust. You rely on muscle memory, confident that it will work out because you've had so much experience. But when you find yourself in mid-air upside down and your brain seems separated from your body, you're lost because your limbs that normally govern how much you spin have stopped responding. You hope that all of your years in this sport have prepared your body for a safe landing. Simone Biles entered that terrible world of uncertainty when she pushed off the vaulting table at the Tokyo Olympics. Biles wanted to complete a 212 twisting vault in the Olympic team final, but her mind decided to stall after only a 112 twist. Biles, who eventually withdrew from the team competition and then the all-around final that following day, described what went wrong on the vault as having a little bit of the Twisties. "I had no idea where I was in the air," Biles said. "I could have hurt myself." Suffering from the Twisties greatly contributed to Simone leaving the Olympics and ultimately never wanting to go in the first place. She knew her mind and head was not in the right space for such a high-pressure environment, but she went anyway, mostly due to the fact that her entire country was dependent and expected her to achieve excellence, just like her past performances at the Olympic Games. What many don't realize is that the root cause of her struggling mental health, which led to her terrifying case of the Twisties, mostly came from her traumatic abuse at the hands of the prior USA gymnastics doctor. It's disgusting to think that someone so high up and official could take advantage of such vulnerable underage individuals, and this kind of trauma would drastically impact anyone's mental health, let alone someone who has to compete in the Olympic Games. This is a key part in understanding why Simone could not continue at the Olympic Games, and why she ultimately regrets her decision to even participate in the Tokyo Games. Victim of abuse. Biles was involved in another tragic situation where Larry Nassar, the official former USA gymnastics doctor, was convicted and charged with sexually assaulting hundreds of underage gymnasts during his time as a doctor. Biles was one of these victims. As you can imagine, this has a huge impact on Simone and the hundreds of other young girls. Recently, when Biles opened up to the New York Magazine about why she should have never attended the Tokyo Olympics in the first place, she spoke through tearful eyes about how she should have quit the Olympic team when Larry Nassar's name was plastered throughout the media for 2 years, and how painful all of this coverage was to the elite gymnasts. She spoke about how she kept going because she didn't want Nassar to take away something that meant so much to her, and that she has been training in since the early age of 6. But it's obvious that this event had a huge mental impact on Biles, and it practically went undealt with for years until it all came to a head at the 2020 Olympic Games. In a clip from the Nassar hearing, which was posted on Twitter, Simone said, "I am also a survivor of sexual abuse, and I believe, without a doubt, that the circumstances that led to my abuse and allowed it to continue are directly the result of the fact that the organizations created by Congress to oversee and protect me as an athlete, USA Gymnastics and the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, failed to do their jobs." Addressing the haters. Following her shock departure from the Tokyo Olympics, many online users were very vocal about her decision to quit. You're probably thinking that they would be sending her sweet messages and regards, hoping that she's okay. And don't get me wrong, the majority of online users were sending her well wishes, but there were plenty of people out there who believed she was quitting because she was struggling and thought that she might not get the gold medal, so better to quit than to lose. However, this is just not the case, and it's sad to think that people out there could be so cruel and dismissive of her actual struggles. At the Tokyo Olympics, Simone Biles retaliated against those who called her a quitter. The world was stunned when the iconic American gymnast withdrew from many events at the 2020 Olympics, citing mental health as the cause. Many people commended her for prioritizing her mental health, but some suggested she shouldn't be on a team. "Definitely not the way I planned the Olympics going, but I wouldn't change anything for the world," she wrote. "I'm proud of myself and the career I had thus far. The Olympics doesn't erase the past accomplishments I've achieved, nor does it define who I am as an athlete. I've pushed through so much in the past couple years. The word quitter is not in my vocabulary. For some of you, that may be how you define me, but keep talking because I can't hear you over my 7 Olympic medals, which tied me for the most decorated gymnast ever, as well as most decorated American gymnast." Months later, just recently, Simone touched on if she would change the situation. When asked if she would go back to the Olympics, Biles replies, "No. Everyone asks if you could go back. Would you?" She adds, "No. Everything happens for a reason, so I wouldn't alter anything. I also learned a lot about myself, such as courage, resilience, and how to say no and stand up for myself." And there you have it. Everything you need to know about Simone Biles and why she regrets her decision to attend the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games and the reason behind her decision to ultimately quit. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. Did you agree with Simone's decision to quit the games? Do you think she should have never attended in the first place? Let us know down below. But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.